Okay, got it. I'm going to hit start broadcast.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Morning, everybody. Mike Anderson here from American Independent Marketing with Aaron Cassover this morning, and we want to welcome everybody to our first user group meeting for our Connected Agent program. We're really excited about where this is going, and since everybody knows who all the players are, I'm just going to go ahead and hand this off to Aaron right now, and we'll get things rolling. So take it away, Aaron.
Great. Thanks, Mike. Quick microphone check. Coming through okay?
Sounds good. Level's good.
Okay, good. And so thank you all for joining today. Just a heads up, it's an absolutely beautiful day here in Seattle, Washington. One of the great things about working remotely, as I imagine many of you experience. There is a slight downside, which is that I'm in the middle of a construction zone right now. And I begged and pleaded with the people working to keep things down for a little while and negotiated they would go kind of further away. So you might hear some jackhammers or who knows what. I apologize if you do. Don't be alarmed. Just we can thank the wonders of the internet and our ability to gather remotely like this. So we want to talk today about a few things. Excuse me. We want to really, now that you all have gotten your sites started and you've had a chance to, some of you had a chance to work with Travis and myself to start to customize your sites, I wanted to go over first your homepage and talk to you a bit about ways you can further customize your homepage, make it your own, and really kind of begin to fine-tune the first impression your site makes on your market. The second thing is I want to do a really quick tour of the blog. The Autopilot blog is now live. You might have noticed it. If you haven't, you can go see it today on your site. I'll show you how that works and just talk a bit about some ideas of how you can leverage the blog to get some more traffic to your site, generate leads, generate sales. And the third I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you a strategy that works really well for using your website to build new referral sources and to strengthen existing referral sources. It's really simple. It's something you can get done today, this afternoon, and if you go through this process, it will help you get better referrals from others in your community. And then finally, I imagine there are probably a couple questions. So we'll open up the floor, and you can just throw questions at us, and we'll see if we can answer them. If we can't, then we'll schedule a time to help you offline or address the question somehow. So diving in. First up, homepage. And this is a snapshot I took this morning of my demo site, which is at weinsureseattle.com. And just a few things that just show you that some ideas of where you can customize. And I'll jump over to the control panel in a second and show you how I change all of these. The first is at the very top of the page, I've added a descriptive page title. And you can't really see it here. The text is kind of small, but I made it say, Seattle Insurance Partners offering health, life, and long-term care insurance to Seattle. And what's nice about that, especially on the home page, is that if somebody has a couple tabs open, they can always look back and see what my browser is, what my website is. And more importantly, that home page title is the single most important thing on your site for getting indexed properly in search engines. If you do one thing to help your site in search results, it's to change this page title. And so I'll show you how to do that. The second is I've uploaded a custom image. And you'll see here that we have got some great images in our library, but they're all, I guess, all stock. They're good images, but they don't necessarily reflect your geography or your market. And so in this case, I've added one of the Seattle skyline, a really nice photo, probably on a day not unlike today, where you can see Rainier in the background and just everything looking really beautiful. People from Seattle will recognize this right away. They'll know where the photo was taken. They'll know that obviously I'm in their market. I'm serving them. It's just an instant trust credibility. And so you can do this pretty easily, and I'll show you how. And then also we can help you if you need a little help getting a custom photo uploaded to your homepage. After that, I've got an intro. I actually haven't changed it here, but I recommend that you all go in and spend just a couple minutes thinking about that first block of text, the first thing people see to read. This is a chance for you to reinforce the value you bring to welcome them, give them a soft landing, and really engage them on the products that you sell and the way that you sell. So if you have a special approach, if you have some insights that you want to make sure your customers are aware of, if you have a value that you really feel is really important that you bring, this is a great place to say that, because it's the first impression. And so changing the intro is a great way to kind of build on this customized homepage. And the last one, and I've seen quite a few of your sites that you haven't gone and done this yet, so I just want to show you how to do it, is you can make the call-outs on the bottom of your page. You can make those links. And once you have your content the way you want it, you should go back to your homepage and really select some call-outs there on the bottom that reflect the content you want to drive the most attention to, and make those link to the pages that you want people to see. They're not necessarily going to see that because it's at the bottom of the page, but if they've looked at your picture, if you've got a somewhat long intro content here, if they scroll down, they're going to end up with those call-outs on their screen, and it's a good chance for you to drive some traffic to very specific parts of your site. So with that, let's just take a quick detour over to my web browser. I'll show you how I can go and change all of these things on my homepage, and it won't take too long, but you'll see kind of how you would go and do it. Now, I am already logged in to the Connected Agent program. If you're not already logged in, of course, you go to AIMAgentSites.com and click on the login button at the top. Put in your email name, email and password, and you'll get right in here. The homepage is controlled under Manage Site, Manage Your Site, and Manage Site Pages. You remember, you just go to this spot to really edit any content in your site. So you can see that it takes us right to the first tab, which is Home, and you'll see that here is my home page. Because I've changed my title, it no longer says Home. It says Offering Health, Life, and Long-Term Care Insurance in Seattle. That's what it will show up once you edit your title. So I'm going to go in, click on this Edit icon, which is, it looks kind of like a little pin drawing on a piece of paper or a pencil on a paper. When I hover over it, it says Edit Page. I'll click on that, and in a few seconds, it opens up the editor, which is where I'll go and make all of these changes to the page. So the very first thing is the title. And by default, this just says Home. And so I recommend you think about 10 to 12 kind of a word, phrase, or sentence that kind of describes what you bring to your market. If you can use the products that you focused on, if you can use the geography that you focused on in that, that's really, really kind of a bonus. But you want to make sure there's something that makes sense to people, that when they read it, they'll understand, okay, this is this is Aaron's site. This is Aaron, the guy who I buy my LTC from. So go in there and think about your title. Again, 10 to 14 words of sort of a phrase or a sentence describing the value you bring to your market. That will be really helpful in a lot of ways. Next up is that content that shows up below the banner. And really go in here and you can spend some time really kind of thinking about what it is that you offer. You might even make a list, and you can go in here and create a bulleted list, saying, maybe I'll say, helping residents in Seattle, such as families, business, free, etc. I could do kind of lots of different things here, but you get the idea, to go in and use that space to really speak directly to your market, so that when they see this, they understand that you're there to help them specifically, and not just kind of a general, just insurance information site.
Hey, Aaron, we got a question about using personalized, for lack of a better way to put it, images in the call-outs, and if so, what their parameters are on that.
Mm-hmm. I'll get down to that. The three call-outs that show up in the bottom of the screen, we call those call-out 1, 2, and 3, from left to right. Those, at this point, you need to use the ones in our library. We're working on adding the ability to add custom points, but for right now, you'll use the ones in our library. If you want an image that's not in here, if there's a product that you sell or a market you're focused on, let us know, and we'll see if we can get it added. We're trying to be really responsive to these content requests as we learn what you need. So let us know if what you're looking for isn't there. So what you'll do is go through here. You can look at all the different images we've got. There's lots of them. There's some that are kind of more specific, like call-outs for quoting. We've got ones for different product lines, P&C as well as life and health. And you really can look through here. You can also even, if you want to, you can type. So if you go in, if you start typing in like life, you'll see that it will just filter down. Here's life dental, life dental. So that's a nice way to kind of narrow down this list kind of quickly, like senior life insurance. Maybe I'll select this one. And so because there is such a big list, if you have a keyword you're targeting, just click on the call out and then it will show you words for that. Now this one for senior life I just added. The next thing I want to do is I want to go and link that to a page on my site. And so what I'll do here is I'll click on this box next to link image. And when I click here, it's going to then show me a drop-down with all the pages on my site. And so I can scroll down here and select maybe this life insurance options for Seattle page. And I want to go through and do that for each of the callouts I've got here, because that's what's going to make those actionable links that go to the pages that I want people to see on my site. So take a few minutes once your content is done to go through and get these callouts selected. I know it's a lot to kind of wade through, but it really does help sculpt the way people approach your site and then make them link to the right pages. And the final thing that I've done is uploaded a custom image. Now you see we've got the 3 main images here. If you go beneath those, we have the option for uploading custom images. Now these images, there's a few requirements about them. They need to be the same size as the main images that we've got. And that size, if you go up to the very top, there's this little help. It will tell you some instructions on replacing those. They need to be 940 pixels wide by 400 pixels tall. So that's kind of a wide, shorter dimensions. If you have a graphical program or a way to add images, you can go ahead and cut it yourself. If you have an image you want to add and you're not quite sure how to get to the right size, just email to us, support@AIM-Agent-Sites, and we'll help you out. We can do it pretty quickly so that we can get you going. And then what you do is once you have the file, you then just browse to it. So for example, I can go onto my computer. You'll see my messy desktop here. I think I have a Rainier. So here it is, Rainier. So if I go and I add this, I just choose the file I want. You'll see the file name. And then when I save the page, it's going to upload that file to our servers and replace it on your home page. So just a quick recap. I went in first. I changed the title, like a 10 to 14 word phrase or sentence describing what you bring to your market. Don't want to get too fancy. Don't want to try to stuff too many keywords here. Just kind of make it really something people would understand if they read. Fine-tune your content to make it really speak to your market. And this is a chance for you to really tell people the value you bring. So don't be bashful here. Go through and select the callouts that you want to drive the attention to and make sure they link to the right page on your site. And then finally, you can go and upload these custom images just by having a 940 by 400 pixel image that you upload from your computer, and it replaces that image there. I'm going to save this page, and once the image gets updated and the page gets refreshed, we'll be able to go in and see that image of Rainier will replace the second call out on my site. So let's see if it's done. We'll go refresh the page. And there it is. Beautiful Mount Rainier in all of its glory. Now, I probably wouldn't just add a picture like this. I might want to add some text because that's a little too vague. But this first example where I have sales trusted insurance professionals over the image is probably a better example of how you can use a combination of an image and then some text to really speak to your market. Okay, so that's the home page. Up next is the autopilot blog. Now, we told you before that the blog is it's a great way to speak to your market in more of an informal way. And it's a great way to be kind of educational and not have to be so focused on product. And as you all, I'm sure, are aware, blogs are nice, but they're a lot of work. And so we're trying to take some of that work off the table for you. And so we are going to be posting to your blog twice a month. We went ahead and kickstarted it. We have 3 posts on your blog right now. We're going to have a 4th one coming. So we're going to start you with 4, and then you'll get 2 a month after that, so that you'll know there's always some good new content. Your site's always expanding and growing. Feel free to add more. If there's more you want to add to your blog than what we post, you can absolutely do that. I highly recommend if there's a topic that you think is important to share, if you have a story you want to tell, if you have a message you want to get out, go ahead and use your blog to do that, because it's a great, easy way to get that content on your site and get it out. If there's topics that you want us to put up there, feel free to suggest them. We have a pretty good list that we're working against, but we're very happy to add to it. If there's something that's very current or urgent, we could give it priority, so just feel free to drop us a line, let us know if there's a topic you want to see. And then you'll want to share all of your blog articles on social media. I say all social media, but really all the ones that you're active in. So if you have a Facebook page, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Twitter, posting your blog content as it gets uploaded to these networks is a great way just to kind of go out there, make people aware of your site in a way that's not so self-promotional, because your blog isn't so product-focused. It's a way to give people some information that helps them and drives them back to your site. Well, they'll then go and click through to other pages. And this is also...
Go ahead, Aaron, sorry.
That's fine.
There was a question sort of in connection with what you were just talking about regarding social media and creating a tiny URL to use on Twitter.
You know, when I go over to the tour, we've actually integrated in sharing buttons onto the blog so that you don't really need to do much at all besides click the button.
Perfect.
So you don't really need to worry about tiny URLs or anything else. It's all taken care of. So I'll show that in a second. The last point here is that these blog posts are a great reason to email out to your contacts. You might even put it on your footer, like of your signature of your email, read our latest blog post. But as we add this content, you can go out and just let people know about it. And especially these first few that kind of launch your site, you'll want to use these as a way to promote your site. And we actually are working on some draft emails that you can use to go and send out to launch your blog, and you'll be getting those within the next few days. So that's coming. A quick aside about email. I've spoken to a few agents, and we actually have one in-house who has a very good customer base of a couple thousand customers, but they've grown over time. It's obviously he's taken his career to build up this customer base, and he doesn't have email addresses for the majority of his customers, just because that wasn't something that was important when he was originally making that sale. Email is going to be the most efficient way you're going to have to communicate with customers in the future. And so get this in your head to make sure you start capturing, if you're not already, email addresses of everybody you talk to and keep them in a list. Even if it's just a spreadsheet, you want to start keeping lists of all these emails because you're going to start to use them more and more. That's going to be one of the biggest assets of your business in the next 5 years. So think about emails. We'll be coming back to you with some strategies on how you can go and get people to give you their email, so you can go back to your existing book of business and help get their emails using a few strategies that we'll be sharing in the near future. But start thinking about this. Start making sure that you get everybody's email that you talk to. You keep track of these. Okay, back to the browser. So I'm going to click on blog. This is where my blog is. And you'll see here are the 3 articles we posted so far. The first one, making decisions about insurance, is more complicated than ever. This is a really nice sort of intro to why your website is helpful. And we talk a bit about how the world of insurance is changing, how information is more and more important for consumers so they can make the right decisions, and that you've created this site to help them educate themselves and do research. And so I think this is a great way to kind of kick off your site. You've got this article, this blog article about why your site's valuable to them. And so this is something you can go and you can share with people via email, via social networks, and elsewhere that will drive them back to your site and help them understand what value it brings. Now you'll see, I mentioned before, the social sharing buttons. We've gone ahead and put them here. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, and then also the ability to share via email. And so people can come in here and they can click on these to share them themselves. You can also use these to share it on, for yourself. So if you wanted to share this to your Twitter feed, you just come in here, click on the Twitter button, and it actually takes you through. We're using a service called Share This, and it takes you right into Twitter, and it will automatically shorten the URL once you post the tweet. So these are integrated in, and what you can just do is just go to your blog, just click on each of these icons, and it will automatically post it out to your social networks. So go take a look at your blog.
On emails like that, Aaron, if you're choosing that, do you need to, this question is, do they need to have an unsubscribe piece built into that?
The share right here?
Well, if they're going to share by email, do they need to have an...
The share via email, we actually don't capture their email address here.
Okay.
So there's no need to unsubscribe. So for example, Mike, if you were on my site and you wanted to send this article to your wife, you could just click on this share via email and then send it out through your own email account. And so I would never get
So
your
it's not
email.
A blast, it's just an individual.
It's not a blast.
Thing. Right,
exactly.
Right. Okay, perfect. All right, thank you.
That's a good question. So that's the blog. Now, the last thing before we open up to questions, and it sounds like there are some questions, is this idea of building referrals. And as we know, referrals are the greatest way to get business, because if you have other people that your customers already trust and they recommend you, they walk in that much more likely to buy from you. And so my approach is really simple, which is under the resources section of your page, create a recommended community resources page. As you can see a screenshot of mine. I put a nice picture of a Seattle ferry with the Olympic Mountains behind it, just to kind of tie in the community. And then I went through and I found a bunch of people in my community, everything from a realtor to a finished carpenter, somebody who does yard care, a handyman, an attorney, a tax professional, even an auto body shop and a car detailer, people that I know that are really high quality, that would serve my customers well, and that I would trust in their hands. And so I put them all on this page, and I put as much information as I could, their name, their business. I put a link to their website, which is really critical, and their phone number. And this is a nice thing for me to share with my customers, but also more importantly, now that this page is up, what I can do is go back to, for example, Edward Krigsman, the realtor, give him a phone call, and let him know about this page, and it's a chance for me to reconnect with him. He might be somebody I haven't spoken to in a couple of years, but I can let him know that I'm recommending him, maybe invite him out for a cup of coffee to kind of talk about his business, get to know him a little bit better, and strengthen that referral relationship. And then once I do that, I can go the next step, which is to go and ask him, you know, Edward, I added this link to your site, to my site, letting my customers know about you. Do you think you could do the same thing on your site? Any chance you could put a link on your site back to my new website? It's a really simple question. It's kind of an exchange. And because you've taken the initiative and extended goodwill to them, in my experience, virtually nobody says no to that. And the only people that really say no are people who can't change their website. And so this is a great way for you to go out, help your customers, build some better referral sources, and then get those really important trusted links back to your website. Now, I've tried to make it really easy for you to do this, and so we've gone and added this recommended community resources page to the content library. And I'll just show you where you can find it. I'm going to go in back to the control panel, and I'll go edit my resource center. And then in the page library, if you select down to resources, here we go, you'll see we have this recommended community resources page. And you can just add this to your site. Now, once you add it, you'll need to go in and edit it, because the example that we have here just has a bunch of jazz greats. We've got Miles Davis, the Finnish carpenter, John Coltrane, who does yard care, McCoy Tyner, the handyman. So obviously these people are not really people in your community doing these services, and you'll want to go through and edit this. But you can use it as a template to start from. And so take half an hour today and just jot out 5 to 10 people, 5 to 10 professionals that you would recommend to your clients. Add this page to your site and go and change it to have their contact information here. Really simple. And then go call them all and see what happens. You'll start to get some good relationships, and you'll start to get some traffic back to your site. So just a very quick recap on all that we've covered so far before I open up the questions. We talked about personalizing your homepage, and make sure you go in and do that. Spend some time today looking at your homepage, changing it to fit your market. If you need some help customizing that image, just drop us an email, support@aimagentsites.com, and we'll help you out. You've got that first 3 blog posts on your blog. Go and take a read on those, and then start sharing them on social networks and via email. And then spend half an hour or so and create that referrals page in your resources section, and go and make a few phone calls, because that's going to help you get some new connections. So with that, let's see what questions we've got.
I've got some right here, Aaron. So,
okay.
And I've had several that seem to center around the same thing, which is the share capability on their individual site isn't showing like you had demonstrated.
Okay.
It came up a couple times. So.
Yep. Yeah. So that's just added, and to make it show, it's really simple. You just need to go in and edit a page, any page on your site. So if you go take care of personalizing your homepage, go in there and just open it up, and even make no changes but save it. It will republish your site. It will add those buttons.
There you go. All right. So go in, make any kind of a change, and then you're going to have that share functionality, right?
Yep. Yep.
Perfect.
This is a great. I should have said you don't get that until you personalize your homepage.
Okay.
But the truth is, you can go and edit any page and save it, and it will show up.
All right. Okay. Well, we got that handled. Okay. Question about the custom quote piece that you were talking about previously, about how to have that shown as a link.
The custom quote piece. Are we talking about this get a quote box here?
The question says, how do you have your custom quotes to show as a link? Okay. So I'm not sure if they're missing what you've got there. Or...
Yeah, the person that asked that question, if you could maybe clarify a little bit about what...
in the callouts, he says, in the callouts down there. So I think that's what you're talking about on the right side there.
Okay, so these callouts in the bottom.
Yes.
Yeah, so your quote forms all sit on pages. So for example, I have this long-term care quote page. And I can make these homepage callouts linked to any page on my site. And so all I would do is, like this looking for a quote, I would just go in here and make that link to my one of my quote forms. So I'll go do it.
Okay. Can that quote button be moved above the fold?
It's going to be dependent on how much stuff you have here.
Okay.
So if you want to have a call out for a quote above the fold, I recommend, we've got some images here that have those. So either create custom image. Like you could take this image and say, get a quote, add a button, or choose one of the ones we have that call out for quotes and put it up here.
Okay.
So to make that change, I'll just go in here, edit my home page. And then what I'll do is scroll down to this call out, and I'll link it to one of my quote forms, like health insurance quote. And then when I save this page, it's going to go and make that button be a link to a quote form here. So we'll refresh the screen. And you'll see that now when I click on this, it takes me right to the quote page.
Okay. All right. Okay. Jeff, I know you've got a more in-depth question. I'm going to suggest that you go ahead once we're finished with the webinar and get a hold of the guys over at Connected Agent, and they can work through that with you rather than kind of battling it back and forth. Question about adding some kind of a calendar element to the website to show upcoming events that the agents are involved with.
You know, there's Google Calendar. You can go to Google and create public calendars. I'm not going to do it right here, but if you go to Google, and I think it's google.com/calendar, or if you just Google, if you do a search in Google for Google Calendar, you can create a calendar and make it public, and they'll actually give you an embed code that you can put on a page. So take that code and you can create a calendar page and just embed that Google Calendar on it. That's a really easy way to do that, and that way people can page through their months, and it really gets a nice little dynamic calendar.
Cool. All right.
If the person asking that question wants some more details, just drop us an email and I can give you some links.
Sure. Okay. Question about creating an entirely new web page from scratch. And that brings out a bunch of different questions simultaneously. That might be a better conversation to have offline if you think. Up to you, Aaron.
Yeah, you can always create a blank page. Just here in the control panel, just a blank page. We've got a couple different layouts you can choose. There's the About Us page. There's 2 different general pages, 2 different home pages, and a quote form. That's kind of the general layout it follows. They always fall within your site's design. So they're going to have kind of the same font, same coloring, same general layout, just it's up to you to add the content. And so that's what we give you for creating blank pages. So that way you don't have to worry about redoing all the stuff that is already consistent on your site.
Okay, great. Question about homepage graphics and whether you add the text before you import the new graphic, or do you import the graphic and then add the text?
The text is on the graphic.
Okay, so they come together.
They come together.
All right, very good. Question about modifying states that are in the drop-down boxes on some of the quote pieces.
Yeah, that's a good question. We've been asked that quite a few times. So by default, if I go to one of my quote forms, you'll see that we have all 50 states here, which would be a lot of annual insurance license fees.
Right.
I'm sure somebody has them all, but not me. So if you wanted to reduce, just to maybe, for example, if I'm just in Washington, Oregon, and Idaho, I can go in and create my own quote form.
Okay.
So what I do is I go here to personalize or customize contact forms, and I have my get a quote form, and there's also a public get a quote form. So this is the stock one, and then I can create a copy of the stock one and edit it. So if I want to go in to get a quote, I can go here, choose Alabama. Oops, I just deleted it. I moved it down. Choose Alabama, and this will show me all the states. So I can go in here and just delete the states that I don't want.
Perfect.
So I'll just go in here and we'll just say that's enough. And then I'll save that, and that's going to then make this quote form changed. There's a second step, which is once this is done, I have to go in to the page and tell it to use this new form and not the old one. So I'll go back to Manage Site Pages. We'll go back over to this LTC quote page. And at the bottom of the form is this quote form. So right now it's using the public get a quote, and I'll just change it to my own get a quote. And once I save that, it will get rid of the states I removed.
Perfect. Perfect. And I know that Aaron moved through quickly on that. Keep in mind this is being recorded, and we will make the recording available to everybody. So if you want to go back and go through it a little more slow pace to make sure that you've got it down correctly, you'll have that availability. We'll try to have that out before too long yet today. So, okay, adding insurance news headlines on the home page. Can that be done with scrolling articles?
There are some widgets that you can embed that you could put down here that do that. I haven't researched any, but I think if you just do a search for you know, embedding news widget, you'll probably find a bunch of different options that you can put there.
Okay. Okay. All right. Good. And we're going through questions. Anybody else has got questions out there, feel free to jump in. We've had a small group of folks that were that have been kind of in the middle of this. Question about adding a hyperlink within a page that would take you to another place in the website.
Yeah. So like if I wanted to link here, let's see. I want to link this word health insurance to like my health page. What I could do is make a link on the home page that points there. And it's going to get it a little bit easier, but for right now, you have to just grab everything on that page you want to link to. You can either grab the entire page like this, or you can grab just everything after your domain name and copy that. And I can walk you through this one-on-one if you want. Copy the page you want to link to, and then you go edit the page you want to link from. So I'm going in and editing the home page, and I find this word health. I want to make a link. I select it, and then I click on this little chain link icon, and I make this a link by pasting in the page I want to link to. And then I'll save this, and you can see it's now underlined. And then when I publish the page, it's going here. Excuse me. I moved kind of fast, but the steps are to go find the page you want to link to, get the URL of that page and copy it, and then go edit the page you want to link from, and make that text that you want to link to be highlighted and select the link icon, and then paste in the page you're linking to as the page you're linking, the URL.
Okay, good. Moving along, question about incorporating email into the site. I'm not sure what they mean specifically, but the question was, how do I incorporate email into my site?
Okay. I'm going to take a stab at that. If I'm answering the wrong question, let me know. People have asked us how they can add their email addresses to their site, like if they can have it appear up here or in the footer. And we left that off intentionally. And the reason why is there are scrapers that go out and scrape the web looking for email addresses to add to spam lists.
Right.
And so if your email address is prominent on your website like that, there's a good chance that it's going to start creating a lot of spam for you.
Okay.
And so we really encourage you to use the contact forms instead and let people send you an email that way. If you do want to put your email on your website, you can put it in the introduction text here. You know, contact us at with your email address. But we're not going to give you a way to automate it just because of the issues that it's going to create with potential spam.
Good protection. All right, and that answers there was sort of a secondary question that tied right to. So, okay, question about JPEG image size to fit into the required format if they want to use customized images.
Yeah, so the image size is 940 by 400.
Okay.
And
All right.
so that's the resolution. As far as the actual file size goes, you're going to want to compress it down, if you're saving the JPEG, to be at least under 200K. But the smaller the better, because that's going to make your page load faster.
Okay. Good. Good. Responding back to one question here that's an offline thing. And can we add keywords to enhance SEO, or has that already been done? I know we talked about this before, but I'll let you go ahead and take this one.
Yeah, so SEO is something that we're going to be talking more and more about. We're kind of intentionally ignoring the topic right now because there's so much you need to do before you worry about SEO. With these new sites, with the new program, there's a good chance that your sites still aren't showing up in search engines. It takes them a couple weeks, sometimes as many as a couple months, to go index a site and begin to showing it in results. And they do that so that you can't just quickly create a site and sort of game the results. They let you, they want you to kind of prove yourself before they start ranking you. So it's not really a priority right now, but it will become more and more of a priority as your sites get more mature. So there are a few things that you can do to put keywords on your site. The most important thing I mentioned before is to go and edit your page titles. The caveat to that is that you don't want to just stuff keywords in there. And I see people do this a lot where they're going and they'll put, life insurance, comma, life insurance quotes, comma, life insurance rates, comma, affordable life insurance, comma, life insurance Texas. And that's called keyword stuffing. And the search engines are smarter than that. They see that and they know that you're trying to game the system and they just ignore it. So if you do want to put keywords on your page, do it in a way that makes sense to your audience, that is humanly readable, that people will see it and they'll understand it, and don't try to just jam a bunch of keywords onto your title.
Good. Question about a LinkedIn icon, and one of our folks is having trouble getting the LinkedIn icon to show up on the website. If you could walk them through that process again real quick.
Yeah, so the LinkedIn icon, once you go in to your, if you put the URL of your LinkedIn page here, I'm just going to put linkedin.com. Oh, there we go. Here, / Aaron Cassover. If I save this, it's going to add that LinkedIn icon to the footer of my site. And so I'll go in here, refresh the screen, and you'll see now at Follow Us, it has LinkedIn. It actually links right to my LinkedIn page. And so that's all you need to do. If you've done that and it's not working, let us know, because it should be working.
Great. While we're waiting for the next question to come in, and it will here shortly, I want to make sure everybody knows the dates for our next 2 user group meetings are, we're always going to shoot for the second Wednesday of the month. So we're looking at October 9th, and we're looking at November 13th. And those calls will be at 9 o'clock Pacific time. All right, and you'll get emails, and so keep an eye out for those because they'll have the links to register, et cetera. And as the group gets bigger, it's going to become more cumbersome for us to be able to do follow-up calls for those that don't sign up. So get those things onto your calendar now. Again, October 9th, November 13th, both of those at 9 a.m. Let's see here if we got any other questions. Webinars on creating basic Facebook and Twitter account pages for those of us who are not up to speed there.
Yeah, and we did to go social media, and I think that was recorded. Was that recorded, Mike?
Yes, I believe it was. So yes, it was. Travis is telling me it was. I will track down that information, and I'll get it to the individual with that question offline here and get them the copy of that one so they can go back through it, because we did have a session specifically on that. So, and then there's a question here, what is the email address for questions, which I think we're addressing those here. So if there's something more that I'm missing, Doug, shoot me over a note, unless you're talking about wanting to work with the tech support guys in some way, shape, or form. And any other questions that you've got out there, we're coming around the corner here to 45 minutes after the hour. Tech support for LinkedIn, that would have to go off of LinkedIn's website, the primary site. You'd have to find that there.
Yeah.
Okay. And it looks like there's some choppiness to the audio coming on your end, Aaron. I'm not sure if you're using VoIP or what, but I think it might be just the system with Citrix as well. So,
am I any better now?
No, it's okay now. There was a spot a couple minutes ago where it was getting a little bit choppy. So, all right, well, it's 9:45. Any last questions here so that we can wrap this up and let everybody get on to other things that they're doing? We appreciate everybody making their time available here for this this first user group meeting. Again, we'll be doing this once a month. Going to shoot for the second Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m. Pacific time, just for the sake of consistency, so you can go ahead and get those on your calendars. Any last questions before we go ahead and shut everything down? Aaron, thanks for your time so much. Travis McQueen, who's our man behind the curtain, he's with us here this morning as well. Travis, thanks for your time. I'm sure all of you will spend some time working with Travis on various pieces that we pulled together for you.
Great.
So looks like we've exhausted their capacity for questions, which is good. We held on longer than they did.
Okay.
Any closing statement, Aaron?
Sure. Thank you all. It really is a joy to work with all of you on your websites, and so I appreciate it.
Same from us here at AIM. We're very excited about where this is going to go, and we're always here if you've got questions. Feel free to reach out. We probably won't have the technical acuity here, but we'll get you to the right person to make sure you do. So, all right, folks, thanks to everybody. We're going to go ahead and shut everything down and stop this. We will, oh, now we got a last question. How do they add a Medicare link? Final question.
We can add a Medicare page, and
Okay.
We've got some Medicare content in our library.
Perfect.
And so if you just go into the section you want to add the page to, go into the content library, and there's a section for Medicare and seniors, and you'll see all the content there. We're adding more content as CMS updates their guidelines. And so you'll see the content library. It's a little bit thin in Medicare right now, but it's growing.
All that content library is going to grow as we keep adding stuff to it. So this, as we told you at the very beginning, this is a living, breathing thing. It's going to continue to expand. You folks are fortunate in that you're in there at the beginning. You're going to be way ahead of folks that are on some of these user group meetings a little bit farther down the road. So anyway, with that, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks, everybody. We will make a point of getting the recorded webinar out to everybody who was on the call today. We'll get it out to you here within the next few hours. And as always, if you've got other questions, don't hesitate to give us a call. Thanks. Have a great day, everybody. Bye now.
Great. Take care.